Hey there, Marina Ormes here with your Astro vibe for Friday, January 27th. We still have an Aries moon for most of the day today, depending on your time zone, of course, but we've been talking about the Aries moon for the past couple of days and what it means to have those actions, the impulse to take actions, to take risks, to move on things that are important to you, and to learn and discover through taking action. Sometimes it's only through trying things that we can truly figure out how they work or what's going to be most beneficial to us. And so today, as later in the day, 4 o'clock-ish my time, so more like 7 p.m. if you're on the East Coast, very approximately, the moon goes from Aries into Taurus. And Taurus is an earth sign. So we have this transition from Aries where we have that impulse to try things, to go for it, to take action, and the energy of the warrior and the fool, like I was talking about yesterday. And so we go to Taurus, which is about kind of hunkering down and making sense out of things. So you'll notice that each of the signs of the zodiac is kind of a response or a reaction to the sign that preceded it. And so when we go through the energy of Aries, it's forward, forward, forward. And then we get to Taurus and it says, okay, maybe slow down a little bit, maybe think things through a little bit more. There might be some prudence to be had here and not just strictly going for it without the action, without thought approach to life. So when we go, when the moon goes into Taurus from Aries, energetically, we go from that 2 to 2.5 day period, which is how long the moon stays in a sign. So we go from Aries moon to a Taurus moon, and it takes us into this territory where we want to, first of all, we want to get more grounded. We want to think things through a little more. We want a little bit more thought about what can we expect, what's going to happen, what's going to bring some stability. So in terms of growth and development, you might think about the Aries phase as being the part where we take action, and then moving into the Taurus phase as being the part where we gather ourselves together and we think about what we need. And so Taurus brings thoughts of, how are we going to meet our needs? How are we going to put a roof over our head? What do we value, right? Taurus is ruled by Venus and values. What do we value? What's important? What do we want? What do we need to take care of ourselves? What do we need to feed our bodies? What do we need to be safe and sheltered from the elements, right? To think about protection, to think about not putting ourselves in the danger that maybe we discovered when the moon was in Aries. So what did we notice that we stepped into by accident or through some foolish actions? I say foolish in quotes because we said being a fool can sometimes be a good thing, right? Being innocent and stepping into things is the way we learn. But then that Taurus energy can bring, following that can bring us the energy of, okay, what does it look like to not be a fool anymore? How do I create my environment and have a little bit more control over things to sustain the things that I like, to bring the results that I want, and to create things that I can count on. So while it might be lovely to, discover that sometimes I have food and sometimes I'm hungry, it can also be very nice to know that this is how I make sure there's always food, so I'm never hungry, right? So that's what the energy of Taurus brings. It brings a little bit more control, a little bit more stability. And so we start thinking about our routines. We start thinking about what gets us grounded. We start thinking about what we need to maintain and sustain and keep things the way they are. And that's what Taurus likes. Taurus likes predictability. It likes things that make sense and that we can count on. So there you go. And that's also Aries, a fire sign, going to Taurus, an earth sign. So we move from action to stability and grounding, focusing on results, focusing on the outcomes we want to create and how to organize our lives to continue to create those outcomes. And then Taurus energy and Taurus moon, of course, is also about what we value, how we experience things through our senses, what we find beautiful. We've just had Venus now going into Pisces, and so Venus ruling Taurus means we have that energy of that bigger picture of heart energy, of love, of unconditional trust and acceptance of the flow of what is, and bringing that into our Taurus moon, into the ways that we ground and what we find desirable, beautiful, sustainable, what grounds us. So, so as we go later in the day today into that energy of Taurus, that's how we'll shift from the Aries energy of action into the Taurus energy of, what kind of results do we actually want, and how do we get ourselves organized to make those results continue to show up and produce themselves. All right. Hopefully that's helpful in your planning and in your self-care to think about, what did I learn? What am I learning with the moon in Aries? What do I need to try? What do I need to experience? And then what do I do with that? Once I've learned what it is that I'm discovering through my Aries action, what do I want to do with that? How do I want to implement it? How do I want to put it into something that I can count on that will be more sustainable and predictable? Awesome. Thank you so much for being here, for working with me and your intentions, for attending to your self-care needs on a daily basis. I'm here every day to support you with the information of the moon and all the planets in astrology and what's going on, so that you can understand and not be a victim of the energies that are showing up, but actually be ahead of the game, knowing what's going on and how to work with it. All right. Thanks for being here. You can learn more about me at astrologyheals.com. I've got videos here every day. Hit subscribe if you'd like to see more. All right. Thanks again. Bye for now.